Hello, folks. Welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa. Breaking news out of South Africa, where South Africa's constitutional court, the apex court, the highest court in the land, has dismissed an application by the Independent Electoral Commission, supported by the African National Congress and the Economic Freedom Fighters, among others, to delay South Africa's municipal elections until at least February, March, April, or May of 2021, in direct violation of South Africa's existing constitution, formed under a majority government. Well, this is a banner day for South Africa's democracy, as the government will now be forced, and the Independent Electoral Commission will be forced to hold elections no later than the 1st of November of this year. This is an amazing outcome. The ruling African National Congress is wildly unpopular, is in total disarray, owes over $200 million to debtors, cannot pay its staff. Many of its staff are now doing a go-slow work approach to working for the party itself. And the party failed to register candidates in at least 90 wards during the registration period, screwing up the process royally. Now there are claims within the party that there were irregular processes in picking people for ward candidates. This is a disaster for the ANC, and one that they have earned, one that they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa's constitutional court, the CONCOURT, has dismissed an application by the Independent Electoral Commission for the local government elections to be held next year instead of now, when they're required to by the Constitution. You see, these elections must occur within 90 days of a 5-year point of the previous councils having been seated. The Apex Court ruled the election has to take place between the 27th of October and the 1st of November of 2021. In its application to the court, the Independent Electoral Commission had argued that due to the COVID pandemic, it could not organize constitutionally compliant elections for October. Now, this is utter nonsense, utter nonsense. Over 30 African countries have held elections during the midst of the pandemic and done so successfully, including Ethiopia, which is in the midst of civil war and cannot even allow 1/4 of its population to vote, still had elections. Somaliland, a country barely recognized, but by a handful of countries around the world, successful elections, no super spreader events, simply success. The Central African Republic, a failed state, held a successful election during this time frame. Namibia held successful municipal elections in November of 2020. And SWAPO, the ruling party, was handed massive setbacks, lost control of all municipalities in Namibia. Perhaps that's what the ANC is afraid of. Zambia just held elections. But whatever the case is here, ladies and gentlemen, the breaking news out of South Africa is finally, as I predicted it would be today, the 3rd of September, the CONCOURT has dismissed this moronic, idiotic case brought forward by a captured Independent Electoral Commission. Now we have to see what goes forward from here. How will they handle registration? They're going to have to open it up to allow more people a chance to register, to participate in the vote, those who've moved from one place to another in South Africa. But a banner day for South Africa's democracy as the High Court does its job. And if I sound a little surprised, I apologize for that. But I've become increasingly concerned about the independence of South Africa's institutions, and with good reason. However, the Constitutional Court has done its job in this case, and they have clearly read what is obvious to even the most uninformed observer who takes 5 minutes to read the Constitution, that they had no option but to say that the election must go forward. What does the ANC do now? Well, that's a good question. They will get pummeled. They will get pummeled in this election. EFF seems to think they'll gain. They won't gain. They'll get some small increases in a few places, but their plateau is 15% of the electorate. There aren't more than 15% of South Africans stupid enough to vote for the Economic Freedom Fighters, a party beset by internal thieving bastards who steal from savers and those who perpetuate race mercantilism. Aren't that many South Africans that fall for that nonsense, thankfully. But what happens now? Will the Democratic Alliance profit? Who knows? Who knows? They are still smarting from the last national elections, 2019, which they failed. Millions of South Africans have disappointed so many. The Freedom Front Plus, they've been very quiet. The UDM, they argued against elections. They're not ready either. They also failed to get some of their ward candidates registered. Who will benefit from this? Well, South Africa will benefit from the rule of law. That's victory number one. Any opposition party that does its job will take advantage of the chaos that took place in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng in July, and the absolute utter destruction and the failure of the security and intelligence services and the government writ large, all of which makes ANC even more unpopular in places in which they expected to win, like Durban. We shall see what happens now. Anyway, folks, breaking news out of South Africa. The CONCOURT, the Constitutional Court, has dismissed the case from the Independent Electoral Commission. The election must go forward by law. Congratulations to all South Africans on this rule of law decision. Take care, folks.